I feel the gravity pull and it keeps me awake. I would rather be here, lonely in space. I've made up my mind, I just wanna be free. I live my own life in a new galaxy. I wanna be weightless in the silence.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel at VG Technique from S4B9, Mr. Vehicle Builder. Hello. And yeah, from the previous video we are still testing the cars, but this is a different video when we are picking up the RS6 from Mallory. So as usual, we have good news and we have bad news. The good news is the car is running. The bad news is the tune can't be done because Phil don't have the proper tools to tune the gearbox, get into it, write the map into it and do something around the gearbox. So we were hoping, even Phil was hoping, the tool will actually come before Christmas. However, it didn't, and we have a 23rd of December before Christmas, and Mallory are closing down, which is like a normal procedure of any company except VG Technique before Christmas holidays and New Year. But I don't want to leave the car there because, first of all, it will be just standing there doing really nothing, and second of all, I do have some stuff what I want to do meanwhile we can't tune it. So I definitely want to swap the high pressure fuel pumps. I use the pumps from the other RS6 what we bought, the grey one, and I'm not sure if they're leaking or whatever. I just want to make sure we're not mixing any petrol with oil, so that's why I bought new high pressure fuel pumps. I do also want to do something with the fuel system with the return for the hoses which were popping last time, and generally check the brakes and new battery, of course, because the battery died how the car was standing there. So all this situation is not really a mess from Mallory side or Phil, because I dropped the car actually in November time, on the beginning of November. Phil takes like loads of time to actually get it ready for the dyno, do the basic maps, the injector, duty cycle and all this stuff. And then from my side it failed because I don't know what I'm doing, obviously, that the car wasn't actually running properly, and when I was back from the US it just took a bit of a while to make it run. So the car or the engine should be fine now, but we have a problem with the gearbox, which hopefully will be sorted with a map or software. But yeah, also I have an update regarding the hydraulic lifters from FEBI, from Aina, from auto stores where I bought, which you heard the tapping noise when the engine was like built the first time. And I also have an update on the brakes. So we'll see. We're going to Mallory now. We are just a few minutes away, and I'm really hoping the car will start. We'll be able to start it off and actually take it from Mallory back to VG Technique West Midlands to our beautiful garage. And yeah, when we're gonna get to Mallory, I'll give you an update.
I can feel the memories fade, it's easing my mind. And I can finally breathe when I'm closing my eyes. I never realized what I just could do, but now I know I'm better off without you. I wanna be weightless in the silence of the night sky. I wanna free fall into nothing at all.
Yeah, at Mallory Performance, surprise, surprise, nobody's here the day before Christmas. There's only one gent inside who's helping Phil to do strapping on the dyno, preparing the cars and stuff, so he gave me the keys. And yeah, definitely thanks to Phil again, because it's taking time. It's a bit of a piss taker situation. Obviously it was a problem with the hardware on the beginning, which was my fault that the car wasn't prepped properly, but what can you do? So we are going back to the VG Technique, and I'll give you an update from the garage. So we're gonna do some nice footage with the drone while we will go back, and then I'll speak to you when we're back. Right guys, so car is back at the AG Technic after probably 7 weeks. I've done 70 miles, all good. I'm very happy that I did have a bit of a funny noise coming from the engine and the noise is not there. So Phil done some basic tuning. I'm not sure what map it is running now, but I'm suggesting it's definitely less than the map where I was driving when I was testing the car once we sorted out the fuel pressure system, and it's slightly detuned. So the car is still pulling, but it doesn't have that sort of a Newton meters what it used to have. So it still needs to be tuned. It's not Phil's fault that the car is not done, because when I dropped the car off, I thought hardware-wise is all good, and it wasn't. So he tried to do something what I didn't done properly because I didn't knew. I don't have the knowledge. It's the knowledge what I'm getting right now. So let's say on the second build, if there's gonna be a second build, I'll be much smarter, much wiser, and I finally will know what to use, how to build. At the moment, I'm still guessing, trying to sort it out. We'll see how it goes. And yeah, Phil done his best. Unfortunately, he struggled to do the gearbox. I'm not sure if he was missing a cable or a software, I'm not sure. But it will be at Mallory probably after New Year's. I'm going to drop the car back afterwards. Meanwhile, I have to do a few things what I want to sort out. While the car was gone, I ordered the new high pressure fuel pumps, which are still not here. They should be coming by FedEx probably tomorrow. So I want to fit those because I borrowed these from the other RS6 what we have outside. And yeah, I'm not sure if they're not leaking. 100% when the engine is running, the right pump, which is a bank 2, when I put my hands on them, is tapping more than the left one. However, if I'm going to start the engine, let me just show you. I have it on this microphone, so I'm not sure how you're going to hear it, but right now it's mostly like injector noise. Before, it went for a tune to fill with those upgraded fuel pumps and everything. It was making a slight tapping noise, especially it was like from a top end manifold somewhere in the middle. Let me rev it now just to show you. So right now it's mostly just like injector noise, but I put the footage on from before it went for a tune, how it sounds like. And I wasn't happy at all. I literally have a very bad night's sleep because I tried to swap the pumps, I tried to swap the lifters for the pump, I've done loads of things where I tried to swap around and it didn't help at all. So right now the car sort of detuned, the noise is not there anymore, so I'm really hoping it will stay this way. I personally think it was something to do with the high pressure pumps, ramps, rails, injectors, the whole high pressure fuel system, I believe. So that's gone, I'm happy with it. Also I want to show you what Philip showed you in the last video with the high pressure pumps to the low pressure system again with the relief valves. So right now we have stock pumps. I will replace them for stock pumps again. They actually put a springy clip over there, and I still have the other one on the other pump. It needs to be sorted. Also, I'm not sure about the fuel lining from the high pressure pump to the low pressure system. Reason why, because I have a spring Juby clip before there. When the pumps were upgraded, and I believe the upgraded pumps are doing like 60% more pressure, it was actually not holding that hose onto the relief valve, so it was like spraying fuel slightly out of it. So the whole point having the spring clamp there is when you have a hose and it's a spring there, it can literally flex, and you have a high pressure fuel going through there, it can actually expand together with the hose and with the clamp. Well, if you have the proper clamp there, which is like screwed in and it's fixed, and you try to expand, it will not allow to span. It can actually cut right on the edge the hose, which I don't know if it happened before that or after that, but the main thing is I don't think these fuel hoses are any good. So I have to get some kind of reinforced one just in case, because I definitely don't want to have any fuel leaks into the engine bay which can cause fire, which is not good. So that will be all sorted. Also, more detailed explanation what Phil was telling me as well about the upgraded pumps. Right now, MRC literally told me it's good to have these relief valves on there because it's helping the whole system to have a stable pressure, and in case it's too much, it will let the additional pressure back into the lower system, the low pressure fuel system. And I believe what was happening with the high pressure fuel pumps that they've upgraded, there was literally so much pressure that these relief valves were actually all the time letting the additional fuel into the low pressure system, and it was switching off the pump in the tank. It didn't come as a fault because the sensors and the whole system was sort of like, okay, there's too much pressure, so we don't need the pump switch off. And somehow it just ran out of fuel again and start up again and run out of fuel. So it was like a perpetuum mobile running out of fuel. But that is all sorted now. Like I said, the car feels slower because it's a different map, and we're waiting for the gearbox tune. Meanwhile, if you remember, I did used to have a carbon ceramic brakes. This is what's left of them, unfortunately, because I was planning to do like a refurbishment on them myself. And as soon as I take them from the back room to over there, I was like, you know, twisting it around, looking from left and right, and I was like, they look in really sad condition. So actually we paid £5,500 for brakes, which needs full refurbishment. However, I did find a really good company. I'm waiting until they'll be back for the result. Meanwhile, you can leave me a comment, what color do you think I pick for a blue RS6 for calipers? And also I want to show you these pads. So this is how the pad looks like, and this is how the whole caliper actually looks like. You can probably tell the condition, how it's rusty. It's got all these circles pushed from the caliper pistons and everything. I don't have the pictures how they look like, but the company who received them like done pictures of them before and after. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. But I wasn't really happy at all to put something like this back onto the car because it looks disgusting, and I definitely don't want to have pads which can damage the disc, which is very expensive to be replaced. So that's why we send them for full refurbishment, new pistons, new piping, new everything, and of course I order all the accessories for the front, which is parts, all the pins, security pins, some bracket holders, and I'm really hoping it will come anytime soon. So that's why the car is here. Fit the battery, do the brakes, sort out the fuel system and everything. That will probably take me a while. And meanwhile, if you remember, I did mention when I had the engine started the first time, there is a tapping noise. I'll show you the video again. I wasn't really happy with it, and the tapping noise from the cylinder head was a reason why I removed the engine the second time. However, I did find out we have a problem with one of the hydraulic lifters, which I believe was faulty. So that's why I contacted the supplier who sold us a FEBI hydraulic lifter, which is actually an INA lifter, but FEBI is selling them. So they advised me to stop all the work, how it was. We called a technician down here and he had a look. Well, actually we stripped it down when he came to actually show when we didn't manipulate with the engine, and this is how we found it. The engine had to be removed because you can't take the timing off, etc, etc, etc. So the technician was a bit shocked that the engine is out, but that was the only way how to actually remove it afterwards, yeah. So he took the faulty parts, which I believe was faulty, for inspection. He also took an oil sample with him, and after 2.5 months we have a report back from Bilstein Group, which is the official inspection report. It was actually declined. And also I have a report directly from INA, and the only situation at the moment is I'm a bit confused. On the beginning, I'm not complaining, I'm just showing what's happening in my life. So if something goes wrong, I will say, okay, that went wrong. Until now, I didn't say anything wrong about Bilstein, FEBI, Aina, other brands. I'm just showing what happened in my life. So we have an inspection result from Bilstein Group, which is actually FEBI in the UK. So tested after fitment of an engine into the car, once ready to road test found not holding oil pressure and there is a very noticeable tapping noise. Identified the new fitted lifter. One seems to have gone down and now no confidence in others. So basically what they're saying is I fit 40 of them. I believe one was tapping and the rest of them were fine. So observation. Due to unusual complaint and difficult nature of replacing the hydraulic lifter fitted to this engine, which is an Audi RS6, our service manager visited the repair garage VEG Technic. So the gentleman came down. At the time of our visit, the engine had to be removed and Thomas showed us the movement of one of the lifters. 2 lifters were removed during our visit and remaining ones were removed and returned for our investigation soon after. So I gave him the one lifter which I thought was faulty and another one, a random one, which I thought was fine. He took 2 and then he rang me, he needs all 4 of them, so I put them in the back, give it to the driver and off they go. All through this product is boxed and sold under a FEBI brand. They are manufactured by Aina, part of the Schaeffler Group. Therefore, as they are the original manufacturer, they need to inspect the part themselves. Conclusion. Schaeffler's own finding is that 8 of the return lifters were found to be hydraulically soft when pressed by hand. They found that all dimensional and material checks had resulted with only minimum wear, which is fine, and there are no manufacturing defects. Okay. From the other side, they are saying they found them to be fully operational with the correct oil supply. On that basis, is it with a high degree of probability that the complaint relates to a poor oil supplies feeding to the lifters. Without the correct oil supply, then the lifters would be operating on a spring pressure only, thus resulting a tapping noise what the driver can hear, which I agree. So what they're saying now is we have become aware of videos available on YouTube relating to the real building of this engine by VEG Technic. Over these videos they highlighted that this engine did have an oil supply problem. This poor supply was so severe that the result in accelerated wear to new bearing shells, which we fitted. VEG Technic had not made any references to this information during our visit. So basically, I did not tell them on the day of visit that before I actually done 100 kilometers, well, there was probably low oil pressure or no oil pressure when the engine was stationary running on idle, which they are saying that this was fully declined because I'm saying in the video with no proof, like with oil gauge, it was 0 or it was +5 or -7 or whatever. The whole point is right now, I believe to this report that the low oil pressure or no oil pressure in the time while the engine was running on the ramp can cause a hydraulic lifter to be not in operational situation when it doesn't have appropriate oil pressure. Which brings me to a question, why 1? Why not 40 of them? Nobody knows. But the whole confusion is that I have the report from Aina directly, what Aina sent to FEBI and they bought it to me, which is saying, I'll try to give you some pictures here. They are saying he's subject of inspection report, end customer, YouTube creator from UK. Ooh, I sent them 40 pieces, 1 part, packed separately. Okay, the engine runtime was 0 kilometers, noise in the engine, analysis of rejected parts. So they were basically doing some kind of analysis. But the whole thing is, they cut open, I'll put the picture somehow next to the screen somewhere, I don't know. And after they cut it open and inspect all the parts, they are saying there is no component fault or production error on the part, which is very confusing because I just want to get to the bottom of it. Yeah, I did even told the gentleman who was here in person when he brought me this paperwork, hello anyways if you're watching us, that I'm not mad, I'm not pissed, I ain't gonna sue the company, I ain't gonna take him to court, I ain't gonna apply trading standards, I ain't gonna do anything, because on the end of the day they cut my only evidence to pieces, so I can't use it. But on the other hand, I was hoping I will get to the bottom of it, why that lift was soft, so next time if we will do something like that, to try to look for a solution. Which I didn't really get an answer, because I understand from Bilst and FEBI point of view, they didn't carry out the test and they can't tell me why exactly it happened. However, the only piss-taking situation is I have two reports and one is saying one thing and the other one is saying something different, which I don't know what to say about it really. Yeah, so on the other hand, I am sort of happy that the noise was there and it was only a lifter, because the engine was out and I checked the bottom end bearings and I wasn't happy with them and I replaced them. Anyways, when I was swapping the bearings and before I bought new bearing shells, I did check actually the clearances on the old ones and the clearance was the same. They looked like they were of course scored, because there was definitely lack of oil pressure, no demand in that, but they were not like worn out, so they were tapping. And also the other thing is, if that lifter didn't fall apart, which I believe it did because it was making a tapping noise, I would have to remove the engine anyways, because the turbos will fall apart, unfortunately. Yeah, so this build was actually a beautiful experience all the way around, with all the suppliers from turbos and everything. I'm not saying somebody had a bad product, it's just, it's happening. Yeah, we even had parts from TPS which were faulty 2 times in a row, didn't get paid any of the labor, anything. We have to do the job twice for free. It's just how things with mechanical things which are somehow designed and built, it can happen. There can be a manufacturer defect, which is really hard to prove, unfortunately. Yeah? And we're running this garage with very good knowledge that it can happen, and we're living with it every day, because we do probably 6 cars a month when it comes to timing chains, rocker arms, engine rebuilds, whatever, like really big jobs when the engine gotta come out, and we are probably replacing on every car 60 plus components on each job. So there's a there's a very big chance from 60 components one can be faulty anytime, yeah, and we gotta live with it. So that's the situation. Like I said, no hard feelings. I never said even in the previous video that FEBI is a piece of shit, INA is a piece of shit, whatever is a piece of shit. I never said that, because I believe the companies are building the parts based on the experience what they've got with the engineers, and of course they're doing the best. However, if you're making 5 million units a month, there is a 0.0001% one of them can be faulty. I'm not saying that, and nobody even from this probably saying it. It's just the report was a bit confusing. But let's move on what we can actually do, which will be the brakes, fuel pressure system, and generally get the car ready for a dyno again in January. So this is an update. Unfortunately, I was hoping today the pumps will come, and they're not here. Unfortunately, FedEx is somewhere near, but is not at VHG Technic. So we will have to wait. That will be probably another video again. And I still don't have the brakes. It's before Christmas, so we are officially shut down. And unfortunately, nobody's working, which I understand. Enjoy the Christmas, everybody. And we will probably see you after Christmas. Depends on the parts. And I'll keep you updated with the build and some other stuff what we have here as a customer cars. But yeah, that's the update so far. I'm happy that the engine is running. Happy with that. Still things what needs to be improved and sorted. But thank you for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video, and take care for now. See ya.